think there's actually there's so much more that like unites us than divides us. But damn, if we find a way to like polarize the stupidest stuff sometimes. But the things that really worry me about the case that you just brought up is I think as different sides, say the right creates something that allows, the current version of defense contractors to be able to spy on whatever. Well, when the next election happens and the right is no longer there, and we see this for the whole history of our country, it's moved from each side. The left is going to create their own equivalent of this and do the same darn thing. Like it's happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's just some of this stuff that I'm not 100% certain we think about these of like, oh yeah, go ahead, move forward, run with that. But to pretend that like, both parties aren't going to do what's best for their own parties is crazy. That is absolute, insanity. So that's probably where I'm like, again, I think this technology is super brilliant. Like you gave the example of,
the eagle eye.
The eagle eye is just so like,
it's fascinating.
I mean, it reminds me of stuff that like I used to play GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64 and stuff like that, the technology and things. And you're going, man, this is just really neat. But then on the other side, you got to remember like, oh yeah, that's loss of life that's happening on the other side. And I don't think, again, it's all fun and games till it becomes like, there was a reason that I didn't work like on the FBI side. I don't think I could do domestic politics. I like my, foreign adversaries, I'm America through and through, but if I had to go and decide like what worked internally, like, no, that ain't for me. So.
If you could delineate how again, we've had FBI agents direct, we've had CIA case officers direct, like, that are obviously like working on the ground more, but I have to imagine those agencies also have their own like hacking communities and everything. Like what?
Well, that's actually good. People don't talk about this. Yeah.
How would you delineate those three and kind of like both capabilities and what also, differs between?
Yeah. So what's nice is, right, the U.S. intelligence apparatus, people don't realize just how large it is. With ODNI, right, the Director of National Intelligence oversees, it's like 18, 20 nowadays, different intelligence agencies. But the big ones everybody knows. It was always FBI. It was always CIA. And now NSA has become a little bit sexier. It's in the age of the geek. My kids think it's cool to be a hacker now. It was not cool when I was in school. It was not at all. And the thing that I'm getting at is every one of those 18 to 20 agencies have their own mission, right? Treasury has their own intelligence mission, right? People forget like these little tiny oddity type things that they'll have their own. And the reality is like CIA is human intelligence all day, every day, from the time that sucker was founded till probably forever and ever, amen. The difference is they're not going to be left behind. And so they use cyber capabilities to further their human mission. And as a result, their cyber capabilities don't look like NSA's capabilities. And they sure as hell don't look like FBI's capabilities. What's wild is people forget like DEA is also one of these. Like, my deployment to Afghanistan, the last one I went, we definitely had multiple, narcotics guys on the team that were from DEA. They had their own cyber. And ironically, a lot of theirs was much more targeted towards like current today. Probably be very anti-drone. It'd probably be different levels, cell phone jamming, things that's actually enabling some of these. Probably a lot more like how do we exploit radio signals to be able to find the narco tunnels and things like that.
I'm sure even crypto transfers too, because that's how they were
so
moving
much.
Their money.
100%. And everybody, it would be crazy to think that all of these agencies aren't looking at the blockchain history somehow. But I imagine CIA's is probably looking at who's moving. It's probably looking at who lost a wallet. Because guess what? If you just lost a wallet, you probably need some money. And you're probably susceptible to influence. And you imagine DEA is probably looking at, they don't care who just lost money. They want to know who's moving it. How many hops is it moving? Can we track these? And so my point is cyber between all these agencies, and NSA obviously is signals intelligence. Most traditional hacking that is signals intelligence, I would say traditional hacking looks like NSA hacking. It's using things like email. It's using access to large amounts of data. It is what it is. But the things that I find much more sexy, and sadly I spent almost all my time at NSA, are the people who are using cyber to accomplish their mission, like special forces. Their cyber flavor is way different. You know, for instance, we were using a lot of the signals skills that I had. It's like when you're having a meat house and you're setting somebody up for like a meet, I'm there looking for foreign intelligence bugs. I'm doing a spectrum analyzer and sweeping the house to make sure that's absolutely fine. That's, you know, also denying all signals around, making sure that if they have an IED or something on them, that that signal is not coming in unless, I don't know, maybe they have a fiber optic cable tethered to them. You know, I don't think I've seen any of those, but you know, maybe that's something,
soon. Yeah.
You know, we see somebody dragging fiber cables, but like, okay, I'll just deny every signal coming in here. We were probably all getting cancer, but it's better to die later than now. And so the point that I'm getting at is every one of these FBI's mission is local surveillance. I never worked on like FISA type things where like sometimes NSA had to use a FBI authority to be able to do it because maybe someone involved in the other end, even if they're a bad guy, could be a US citizen, right? NSA can't look at that, so they'd have to work with the FBI. But I gotta imagine like the remote operations unit is the offensive cyber capability of the FBI. And although I haven't done like serious time over there, I know that a lot of the capabilities when I was like helping buy exploits and buy technology, buy cyber weapons, were very much focused on de-anonymizing. Child porn rings, kiddie porn ring type stuff like that. Different people doing like drugs, you know, Silk Road type stuff. It was all about let me, you're anonymous till you're not. Let me uncloak you. Let me find a bug in your software stack so now I can find you and actually put you in jail. So I know that's a very long way of answering your question, but if you can't tell, every department has specialized. Well, NSA's is very broad and like, I got to do all the signals. Everybody else has got really targeted. And from what I understand, if you want to talk to people that, you know, like people forget, even though we have Treasury, do you know which intelligence agency is focused on actually like counterfeit?
Oh yeah.
It's a weird one. Most people don't get it.
God, what is it? It's not a.
I won't keep you hanging. That's actually a really good example, or a really good guess, but it's actually Secret Service.
Okay.
It's weird, right? You're like, how did that end? Why didn't that end up at Treasury? Why not IRS? Like all these would have made sense. Secret Service happens to have that. And what's neat is you could imagine as a result, they're looking at things, for instance, like counterfeit. There's not really counterfeit Bitcoin. You can imagine their technologies and use of cyber is a completely different. They want to follow the money. They want to follow plates. They want to follow currency coming in. In some ways, you got to be able to just know it all. And so if you can't tell, every branch is using right now, not only the military services like Air Force OSI, the Office of Special Investigations, they have their own very specific flavor of cyber. And what I'm loving is outside of NSA, people get focused. And when I get to meet operators, you know, talking about like barrel-chested freedom fighter type, these are some of the most creative people ever. And sadly, me and my geeks will sit in rooms and we might come up with the technical solutions, but the real creativity, I was with a, you know, Army guy. Let's not pick on him too bad, but you know, with an Army operator, and he's describing to me of how would we deny, like if we wanted to go, and this is purely theoretical, if we wanted to go and deny access to a country's ability to succeed at the Olympics, how would we do it? And ironically, the first thing he said, and I'm sitting here thinking about like, could I climate control? Could I affect their sleep? Can I whatever? And he's like, no, I'd start immediately. I would start extorting and bullying their kids on social media. I would start doing this. I would start putting, you know, I would manufacture an affair with their wife in this and make sure that when that athlete goes to run, they're not in peak mentals. That was a whole nother level of like use of cyber for a completely different purpose. And I was like, you are sick. But I respect your creativity, and you're right. And their ideas were actually better than mine, mine were super geeky. I was coming down and I was like, man, we could think about implantation. We could think about micro stuff. We could think about like, I'm thinking about like, can we put something in their blood? Can we really start doing stuff? Can we, you know, magnetism, crazy stuff like that? No, they're like, yeah, I'm just going to stress their family to the point they can't run. That's wild, right? And so cyber, if you can't tell, it's an all domain tool now. It's not just one.
So how much is there cross-pollination between the two? Like, are you guys sharing technologies, or technologies getting developed in-house that are more specific to agencies?
I would say they're oddly exclusive, and for the right reasons. You know, if you're using a technique, they're a lot like a you have to manage your commodities, right? You have to treat it as like, I have an asset. And if this asset gets burned, not a person, but like a technique, it's going to hinder my missions.